Hi, my name is Lakyn Montgomery and welcome to my Persuasive presentation. Today I'm going to discuss ethics of cosmetic clinical procedures such as declawing, tail docking, and ear cropping. This report was written to help owners and veterinarians decide whether or not to perform cosmetic clinical procedures. The report is intended to help owners understand the basics of the cosmetic procedures, the possible complications, and the proper post-op care needed after each. The report will include pros and cons of each and provide alternative options that the owners can choose and/or the veterinarians can recommend. Declawing or onychectomy removes the claw and phalanx with the use of clippers to prevent damage and/or the threat of a cat's claws to humans, other animals, or household items. Tail docking or a caudectomy removes a part of the tail either with surgical scissors or a special band that cuts off the blood supply and causes the tail to fall off. This is done to prevent injury to the tail in sports dogs and/or to keep up with the breed's traditional look. Ear cropping removes a floppy part of the ear or the pinna, then either tapes the ears to a hard surface or to each other to encourage them to stand upright. This is done to prevent ear infections and/or to keep up with a breed's traditional look. To research for this project, I relied on Google to find articles and papers written by reputable resources such as veterinarians and others in the animal health field. Here we're able to see a before and an after of a declawing where the phalanx is amputated from the bone. Possible complications are nerve trauma, acute pain, infection, lameness, chronic draining tracts, development of palmograde stance, and chronic neuropathic pain. Post-op care includes pain medication, confine cat to a small space for 7 to 10 days, keep claws clean, encourage cat to walk, and monitor incisions for complications. Pros: prevents scratching and destructive behaviors. AVMA policy states that cats with destructive behaviors may be more likely to be euthanized, released, or abandoned, or if left in the house may be reprimanded for their behavior. Clawed cats might require severe restraints or sedation to be properly examined by a veterinarian. Cons: causes them to lose primary means of protection and deprives them from engaging in their species-specific behaviors. Declawed cats can develop behavioral problems such as increased aggression and house soiling. Alternative options include soft paws nail caps, scratching posts, double-sided tape, and felloway. Here we're able to see an example of a purebred dog that's been docked. Possible complications are acute pain, infection, necrosis, or neuromas. Post-op care includes keep the dog's bedding clean, remove bandages when instructed, return to the veterinarian clinic for follow-up and/or to have the stitches removed, and monitor incision for complications. Alternative options for tail docking are limited. Either leave a dog's tail natural or trim a long-haired dog's tail often to prevent soiling. Pros: working dogs such as police, guide, or guard dogs have their tails removed to prevent them from being grabbed. Hunting dogs have their tails removed to prevent them from being caught in the underbrush. And long-haired dogs' tails are removed so the bottom doesn't become soiled. And dogs are still able to communicate without their tails. Cons: in a 2010 study done by British Veterinarian Association, only 1 out of 500 dogs had a tail injury. That's only 0.23%. A dog's main method of communication is through their tail, and this can lead to psychological problems such as increased aggression. Here we're able to see a variety of different ear crops from a battle crop all the way to a long crop. Possible complications are an unsuccessful procedure may lead to disfigured ears or infection. Post-op care includes up to 2 months of recovery, requires splinting, tedious ear bandaging, and pain medication, and of course you must monitor incisions for complications. Alternative options, again, are limited to leave the dog's ears natural. Pros: helps to preserve a breed's trademark physical appearance, enhances a dog's appearance, creates a sharp and alert look, In show dogs, those with cropped ears are often desired above those who aren't, and may be performed to correct birth defects and/or damage caused by injury and disease. Cons: most commonly done for aesthetic reasons in purebred breeds and show dogs, often not medically indicated by a veterinarian but instead opted for by the owner. And this can lead to psychological problems such as increased aggression. Declawing is a preventative method to reduce the risk of destructive behaviors. The other two procedures, tail docking and ear cropping, are done more so for aesthetic reasons instead of ones indicated by a veterinarian. All of the mentioned procedures cause unnecessary stress, panic, and pain in the animals that can easily be avoided with the use of alternative options or the choice to avoid the procedures altogether. Instead of declawing, owners can buy soft paws nail caps, provide scratching posts, and/or use felloway to deter cats from the furniture. Tail docking and ear cropping don't have any alternatives, so the owner has to consider whether the aesthetic purposes or the well-being of their pets are more important to them. Based on the information provided in the report, owners should consult with a local veterinarian, and veterinarians should recommend alternative options to each procedure and focus on complications should owners choose to continue with one of the cosmetic procedures. I recommend that owners research the cosmetic procedure of interest and consult with a local veterinarian for further information. The basics of the procedure, possible complications, and post-op care should be the main factors considered in an owner's decision. Each procedure has a list of pros and cons. The pros are either preventative or aesthetic, whereas the cons include unnecessary stress and pain, possible blood loss, post-op infections, and negative psychological problems. There are easy alternative options to each procedure that must be considered prior to a decision. Veterinarians should focus on the possible complications to deter owners from the procedures and recommend that owners leave their pets natural and unharmed. Say no to cosmetic clinical procedures. Thank you for listening.